Welcome to Working Dragon Mystic. I'm Drake. Today we're going to go ahead and review the next book in Christopher Penczak's series, Temple of Witchcraft. The next one in the series is the Outer Temple of Witchcraft. Again, this series is one of my favorites for beginners because it covers so much material. The second book, he does cover a lot of information. He covers sacred space a bit more. He goes back over that. And he begins to talk about basics of magic affecting the outside world. Hence, in my opinion, why he calls it the Outer Temple. Now, this book does have a lot of the witchcraft spirituality in it. And so for anyone seeking the understanding and practice of Wicca or witchcraft or any of the categories that fall into, from a non-tradition standing, this is a great book. There's a lot of information on the gods. There's lots of information on the Sabbats, how to celebrate them, how a traditional circle is built in those traditions, and those kinds of things. Now, if you're like me and you come at it from a mage's perspective where religion or spirituality is not really your focus, this book is still very valuable. Because he does talk about how magic works, the science of magic, the basics of magic, and he covers a lot of correspondences in here. For example, he goes really in depth with the 4 base elements and their correspondence and how you can start to work with them and attune to their energies, which is a very important thing for any practitioner. He also talks about the planets in this book and gives the correspondence on the planets and how you can use them in your practice and your magic. He also goes over the zodiac and the correspondence in them. So any magician starting out, this book has a lot of information in it. He even goes into sigil magic and how to create your own sigils. He gives a couple different ways to do it using a alphabetical wheel, or what he refers to as the witch's wheel, and how to use symbols and overlaying different alphabets, all to make your own custom sigils for your practice. Now, for the magician, I do actually suggest reading through the whole book, because knowledge is important, and understanding a culture and their magic, I believe, is truly, truly valuable. So, taking the time to read through the other material from the spiritual side, that's going to gain you knowledge and wisdom of a perspective that it's truly valuable, in my opinion. And you will gain knowledge of the gods that are talked about in here, which are entities that any magician can work with. Even if you don't worship them, you can still work with them as an ally. So those sections are great. And when we're talking about the Wheel of the Year or the Sabbats and how it turns, that's a very important topic for any practitioner, because that Wheel of the Year, it's not just holidays. It's an energy flow of the natural world. So understanding those holidays, understanding that turning of that wheel, helps you to understand that energy flow in the natural world, how it affects you, how you can utilize it, and how, as a magician, you can control the energy in your life to benefit you and produce the results you want. Some people will see some negative effects from certain energy shifts. As a magician, you have the opportunity, if you understand the energy shift, to negate the negative effects and only pull in the positive. So every piece of material in here is valuable to both the practitioner seeking a spiritual path or the mage just looking to understand magic and apply it to their life and gain life mastery. Either way, this book is very, very well done, very complete. Like in the last one, he does go into a lot of things, and he gives very, very simple instructions that I love, and he covers it in ways that I've really not seen anyone else do. He does touch on some banishing rituals, some very basic elemental invocations. He does cover divinations a lot more in this book. And he covers different styles of divinations, what they are, And he touches on a few of them to give kind of a quick start primer. The two that I really enjoyed, though, was both the Tarot primer and working with runes, the North's runes, the Elder Futhark. I can't remember if he covered the younger Futhark, but I do know he covered the Elder. And both of those, he gives a really quick primer on how to get started working with them. And for those who's wanting to get involved in tarot, I love this because he breaks the tarot down into the major arcana, the suits, and what I've always heard called as the royalty cards or the face cards, which is, you know, your lord, your lady, king, queen, those four cards. And he breaks it down and shows you that the king card, all the kings have a similar meaning, all the queens have a similar meaning, all the pages or the knights have a similar meaning, and the daughters or the princesses, they have a similar meaning. And then he also talks about how each of those cards has an element, and that element also overlays that meaning that applies to the suit that the element is also applied to, and how the twos and those elements. So he simplifies the meanings and shows you where the meanings are being drawn from, and makes the understanding of these cards a lot easier to begin to pick up for a beginner, because 72 cards is a lot of information to take in. So this quick start primer that he puts in this book is tremendous for starting tarot. I've actually recommended this book for someone who's wanting to get interested in tarot just for the primer. I mean, it's about the same price as you'd pay for most tarot books, and honestly, it's a great, very easy to understand quick start. Is it the end all be all of tarot books? No, obviously that's why you have an entire book dedicated to specifically tarot. But with this book, you are getting that tarot introduction quick start as well as a runic introduction quick start, complete with all the other magical information and practice in here. He also has a section that actually goes into spell work, why spells work, how they work, the ins and outs of it. He gives several spells, oils, even potions, which is something you don't hear a lot about people using anymore. Formulas in here for you to begin using as examples for your practice. And just like the other book, this one is all broke down into lessons. I believe this one has, 12 to 15 lessons. Don't quote me on that just yet. So there's 13 lessons in this book. And again, at the end, there is a self-knowledge test for you to take to make sure you did understand and absorb the information in this book, which is, in my mind, again, that's a valuable thing, because it's one thing to read through a book and say, okay, yeah, I read that. But did you actually retain the information? Did you understand it? That's completely different than just reading the book, in my mind. And that test really helps to make sure you did understand it, you did absorb it, and you do have a working knowledge of it. And like I would tell any of my students, just because you study it and read it and understand it, apply it. Please apply what's in here. Get some practical hands-on application of it. That is really the big final step for anything. And so, like I said, this, much like the Inner Temple of Witchcraft, is a phenomenal book. I can't recommend it enough. Christopher Penczak has gone way out of his way when he wrote these and authored these, and done a great job in making the information very easy to understand, digest, and apply to your practice. And again, I totally stand by the fact that I believe whether you're seeking a spiritual path in magic or whether you're just focused on it in a scientific, mage-like concept without the spirituality, these books can help. They really can. They're phenomenal. And I'll be putting a link to this below, as well as the rest of the Temple of Witchcraft series, so you don't have to wait on my next review if you don't want to. If you're liking them as much as I do and you just want to go ahead and buy them all, make sure all the links are below. But I will be also reviewing the next two as well, because those are tremendous books. I love them. And I've actually been going back through and rereading these books before the reviews, and well, it's been wonderful to go back and reread these and see the information that's contained in them. It's funny because I'm getting excited over these books all over again, and I've owned them for years, but so highly recommend you pick up the book, support the author and his work, and I'll be reviewing the next books as quick as I can, and we're going to be trying to get more videos out to you very shortly. I am sorry for the recent delay. Also, remember, we are getting ready to launch an online magic school with full beginners to mastery classes in multiple subjects. We're currently recording the first class. We're almost done. And you should, in this video at the opening, you should have seen that we have a new logo, and it should have appeared at the opening of this video. We made sure that that logo was designed for the school, so that is actually the logo you will be seeing with the school when you go to the page. And we are getting very close to letting the page go live, and we will let everyone know the second it does. So please stay tuned. Share this video with your friends. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can stay up to date with everything we're doing. Please go to our Facebook page. There should be a link, and join that group. We're trying to build a community there where people can ask questions and discuss topics. I check it regularly, so if you have any questions for me, put them there. Please leave a comment below. Definitely leave a comment below. It definitely helps us out. And you can also ask questions there. I have been getting some questions, and we are looking at starting a Q&A style video where I actually just go through and start answering some of the viewers' questions as best I can. If I can't answer it in the Q&A and it requires a video, we will do a whole video on the question or topic, and I'll make sure you get your credit for the correct question or topic. So, thank you for joining us. I'm Drake, and this has been Working Dragon Mystic. We'll see you next time. Please check out the book and support the author. Talk to you later. Bye.